Good evening, firing squad of the Killing Wall. Some people may be wondering why I'm back tonight. Well, it's very rare when I actually feel the need to speak up on something a little bit, I guess you could call it out of turn, mostly because I keep myself quiet in regards to foreign affairs. I always have, unless it directly involves us. I keep my mouth shut because the mentality is that not my circus or monkeys. As I'm hoping at least some of you have learned in the past not to speak of anything that you don't know much about. But at the same time, there are some events in history that a person can't be quiet about. There are circumstances and individuals that have had major impacts. And when they're no longer walking around anymore, something needs to be said. This much is accurate, this much is true. The big problem, though, is when an emotion is directed about it. We'll get into that tonight. Hello, Tyler. Thank you for being the first person to fire. I'm glad to see that you decided to pop up out of the woodwork. I'm curious as to how many other members of the firing squad have actually decided to show up tonight. So far, I could tell at least three of you are standing in formation, but only one of you bothered to speak up, which is fine. I know a considerable amount of you come to my briefings pre recorded, as opposed to when they're actually being given, which is fine. I'm happy as hell to get any level of feedback, so you can always reach me at thekillingwall@gmail.com. Ah, Troop Beth, it is so good to see you back. Now, some of you may be wondering what happened to the facial hair. Well, it was time for me to shave it. Basically, I only grow it out for a short amount of time, usually a month and a half. This was the longest that I decided to leave it alone. I left it alone for about 8 months. That's one. Two, in about 2 days, I'll be 42 years old. And I wanted to look a little bit younger, just for my own sake. If you guys want to get me a gift or provide some kind of donation, let me know. You all have my contact info, and I'll be more than happy to be able to respond in kind with my PayPal link or my Amazon wish list if it even exists. But that being said, let's see about tackling the topic at hand. Because, in all honesty, I'm a little confused. When people decide to try and dictate what they feel is policy, what they feel is law, and who's responsible for it. Now, I know that emotion can lead to people misplacing their judgment. Anger and rage can make somebody really say some stupid things. I know this for a fact. I know that a lot of people right now are seeing the death of the British monarch this week as a victory. Hmm. Let's unpack that for a second. Let me get a little more comfortable because I feel like I need to strap in for this one. Now, a lot of people think that the Queen is the one that dictates policy on that island across the sea. She isn't. The House of Lords, the House of Commons, and Parliament as a whole are the ones that do. There hasn't been any intervention by a monarch against the will of Parliament since 1710, when Queen Anne vetoed a proposed law to reinstate the Scottish militia. That was the last time. Since then, Parliament has dictated policy, Parliament has dictated law, Parliament has dictated action. Okay? As far as pushing for colonization of foreign lands, last time anybody did that was back in the 30s. You know, when George VI was in power. And that was a declaration of war against Germany in 1939. And by the way, Queen can't declare war. She can, but nothing can happen of it unless Parliament approves. What does that tell you? What does that say precisely? Because last I checked, colonies were released from colonization under Elizabeth, not taken in. Right? India became its independence when Liz was in charge. Kenya gained its independence when Liz was in charge. Canada declared its own constitution, was given its independence when Liz was in charge. So, this rage about British colonization, right? People are saying Britain owes us, Britain owes us, Britain owes us. Okay. You know what? Here's a hot take. I agree with you on that point. Britain does. Queen does not. Sorry, she doesn't. You're putting it all on one individual that was a figurehead. A fucking figurehead. I want you to think about that for just a second here. The Queen only was an advisor. The most that she could do is say, I don't think that's a good idea, or if you do this, this might happen, or I think it's a bad idea. That's it. Or a good idea. That's it. That's all she could fucking do, people. The fuck is wrong with you? You're singing and praising the death of a 96-year-old woman that sat on the throne for 70 years. Most of the fucking people that are in a goddamn uproar can't remember the last time her hair wasn't gray. This kind of shows the stupidity of so many. She was an ambassador to England. She wasn't a policymaker. All she was somebody that made the country look good. That's it. Yes, she has to sign off on the shit, but ultimately, that's ceremonial. It's a formality. That's it. Now, does this make her complacent and shit? I can't even argue that. Because to go against the will of Parliament and the Houses can mean one thing, and it's not a good thing. Because you know what? In England, they don't have civil wars. They have fucking revolutions. Now tell me something. How quick would you be to face that? She had powers, but she would not use them in that way to go against the will of the people. That's the case. Because if she actually had the ability to do so, Margaret Thatcher wouldn't have been sitting in that chair in Parliament as long as she has. That Q-tip nearly fucking destroyed the entirety of Europe. Okay? You can't say she has all of this power and then say that she doesn't have any. It's one or the other. And frankly, it shows that she had no real power. She was a ceremonial figurehead of a country that tried to do the best that she could with what she fucking had. What she had was a soap opera of a fucking family, starting with her damn uncle. That when he was in the line of succession, basically said, no, I want to be king. First time that ever fucking happened in God knows how long. so that when her fucking father died, she got put on the throne when she was in her 20s on her honeymoon. Okay? She was doing a tour of the royal areas that were still under British control at the time. Does that make it right? No. But does that mean that you bash somebody that frankly was peaceful for the majority of their time sitting on that chair and wearing that crown? No. If you have anger, throw anger where it's deserved. And that's why I feel the need to be pissed off. And thank you very much, Justice. That's right. It's people that feel like they have something to prove. It's virtue fucking signaling. It's what it is. It's to feel good about yourself. You'll bitch, whine, complain, criticize. Feel like you're a fucking saint. Over something that one, you had no hand in, two, had no control over, three, have no fucking horse in the race. I'm sorry. But the last time I fucking checked, there isn't a single person alive today that was around when a country was still in British rule. All right? Most of the people that are fucking doing the bitching have never left their own goddamn state here in this country, let alone in the British fucking Isles or any British Commonwealth under their control. Now, yes, believe it or not, I do have some fans from places that are still considered a British Commonwealth of the Empire. You know what it is? Canada. Canada. How much power do you think the Queen has in Canada, in the Great White North? You want to chuckle? I'll tell you. The Queen has about as much influence in Canada as she does over her own fucking country. Now, when the people in fucking Canada that are in charge fuck up, do you go after the Queen? Or do you go after Trudeau and Ford? Hmm? Who do you go after? Or do you do what I see a lot of them are doing now? The people that are sparsing with their sparsing. Do you wait until they fucking die to say something? Because last I fucking checked, for the last 70 years, there was no goddamn fucking campaign to bring her out. None. And we've had social media for quite a while. There was no fucking march. There was no social media campaign to get the Queen canceled. Where was all that shit? Where's the shit that we're hearing people say that they need to do now? She's not even fucking cold. And you're doing this shit. You want to know what you're showing yourselves to be? You're fucking cowards. You're going after somebody that can't defend themselves now. Although, with the way that her general rule has been, she probably wouldn't say a word. She wouldn't address it. Queen Elizabeth was one of the most hands-off monarchs in the history of the British Empire. Hands down, no doubt, no question. Hands off. At one point, when they couldn't elect a fucking prime minister, you know what she did? She went on vacation. They were hoping she would fucking say something. She's like, nope. You guys figure it out. Let me know when you've picked somebody. And then I'll do the formalities of having them over at Buckingham and having a conversation with them. Because that's all she ever fucking did. Don't you get it, people? She didn't dictate policy. She signed off on it. That's it. As a formality. As a ceremonial formality. You want to blame somebody for some of this shit for a while? And you want to get them long after they're gone, but you still want to criticize the fucking institution? Go after Boris Johnson or the new bitch in charge. Why don't you fucking harass Winston Churchill's ancestors while you're at it? His descendants. Okay? Let's go find fucking Margaret Thatcher's grave if she's even dead. I can't even fucking remember. But you want to know what? The last few years that she was in charge, she might as well have been. Why don't you go after her? They're so fucking quick to go after fucking people. Go after them. Because guess what? They're the ones that actually fucking did it. You guys are aiming in the wrong fucking direction with this social media shit. Because you want to go after somebody that's big and dead and can't fight back. That shows what the fuck you are. You're virtue signaling fucking vultures. Every last fucking one of you. Because none of you fucking spoke up on social media about this shit beforehand. You were too busy fucking directing it here. You notice that? Not a single fucking word about the bullshit overseas. About wherever the fuck it is that they feel that it was repressed by the British Empire. They were keeping mad fucking quiet about that because they had all their fucking guns trained on how this country is a repressive country. Now all of a fucking sudden, Queen's dead? Nope, it's over here now. Every last one of these. I'm legit waiting to see how many more fucking people speak up. And the thing is that, you know what? I know I have a lot of these, what I call woke-tivists in my friends lists, on my profiles. I know I do. And a lot of them are some of the more vocal people out there. And they have no fucking clue that I'm like this. This is me speaking, not Rant Commander. This is me. This disgusts me. As it should you. If you're a decent enough human fucking being, you don't speak ill of the fucking dead unless they're responsible for the death of your direct relative. And you know what? If the British Empire is, then speak out against those that were in charge. Okay? What you don't do is go after the figurehead. Because that solves nothing. You insolent little shits. You want to appear more appealing to a community? More than you do actually going after what would institute change? I hope you get fucking canceled. I hope it. I wish it. I can't wait for it, and I'll gladly light up a smoke, crack open a fucking beer, and watch the fire burn. Because that's what you just deserve. I've got zero fucking sympathy or chill towards people that go after those that don't deserve it. And those of you that fucking know me know that. She doesn't deserve this hate. She served her country and ruled it for 70 years. And by ruled it, I meant she was a face for it. England has, for a long ass fucking time, been seen as the most pragmatic and kind-hearted of the countries. But since now it's popular to fucking go after people, you're gonna go after her now that she's dead? Really? You couldn't fucking wait a week? Like, that would have made it any better, but still, it would have showed some semblance of class. That kind of shows you're running out of fucking people to come after. You're showing how vile you really are. Whose pants are you trying to get into? Whose dick are you trying to fucking ride? In a fucking cloud of patchouli and weed. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't mind toking up, but at the same fucking time, your asses are letting that shit get into your goddamn head. I'm a classless individual. I am, Justice, not you. I am. Because people with class have a modicum of decency that they must display at all times. Very British. They're meant to be what we model ourselves to be in regards to decorum and presentation. They are the level headed. And we had a monarch in charge that kept them that way. And now they're bashing the hell out of her just because she's dead. Fucking cowards. All these. Every last one has decided to say something disparaging about that specific woman. Blaming her for fucking atrocities in the world. Now I get it. There are many out there that feel that inaction is just as bad as malicious action. That's an argument I can't win or lose. It's like debating the existence of the deities. You're going to believe what you believe. Those that choose not to fight are those that feel that they can't. And nobody exactly is going to go out there and purposely put their neck out into a battle they know they can't win. Because that's a fight of public opinion and public opinion alone. That's not a fight of facts. I dare you to fucking argue that. Point still fucking remains, people. Now, now we're going to see the power an actual British monarch can do. You know why? Elizabeth was the moderate of them all. She was the one that did not want to make waves or cause any to stop and ripple. Her kid is the one that's now in charge of just the monarchy, the new figurehead. Because while the monarch can advise, she purposely kept every single bit of advisement as pragmatic and quiet as possible. She never took a heavy stance from one direction or the other outside of personal matters. That's it. Charles, on the other hand, he's got some opinions, and he'll make them known to Parliament. Does a royal seal carry weight? Yes, it does. Just as much as a fucking influencer saying they think that you dress unclassy. Just like a critic of cosplay would say that your shit's mediocre. That's about as much influence as they have. And some people in Parliament have a problem with their monarch disliking them, but others could give two shits. You either have faith in the governing body or not. The queen or king has none. Get that through your heads and knock this shit off. Now, I know some of you were hoping to get a full blown briefing tonight, but to be 100% honest with you, I'm still recovering from freaking Dragon Con, which was epic and awesome. But I just want to end on this, guys, before I open the floor to questions. Why do you think the Queen is such a big target now? When for the last 70 years, if she's done all this shit and she's been responsible for it, why did nobody dethrone her? Hmm? Why is that? If she's the reason for all this suffering and misery, why wasn't she taken off the throne? Why wasn't there a war from within? You know what you're doing to those that are her detractors, the ones that are celebrating her passing. It's because you're inherently racist. You consider that they're pale, therefore they only care about themselves. They only care about Europe. You know, that argument's getting old real fucking quick. You know, there are, and if anything, the one country on this goddamn planet where equality is displayed is England. It's the one where you can legitimately say everybody is treated equally. Okay? And they had fucking slavery too, by the way. They may have ended it a bit earlier than us, but they had it too. You don't see them all in fucking arms. You want to talk about bullshit? Colonizers. Get through your fucking heads. That's the way worlds expand. If you go back to trace the origins of most shit, everybody colonized against everyone if they had the ability to. You want to pull some shit like that out of your ass? Fine. Here's what you do. Plain simple. Okay? Okay? Listen? Good. Okay. Why don't you go against Italy invading Greece? Or better yet, why don't you go against the Islamic states against colonizing the entirety of the East and West Banks? Hmm? How about that? Let's talk about the entire expansion of every single empire on this goddamn planet and go against their original people that took over. Why don't you do that? Hmm? Why aren't you holding grudges from back then? It's because it's not popular to do it. You don't get virtue signaling points for that. Okay? You want to talk about segregation on a mass fucking scale? That's what that is. Colonization is how people expand. The spread of culture isn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. Too many people are set in their fucking ways with shit. Sometimes you force a culture down their throats. That was the mentality of many kingdoms back in the day. Not everywhere can be a fucking melting pot like here. You want to talk about yourselves being fucking arrogant? There that is. It just happened to be the most prominent and biggest on the block first. It's the only difference. So why don't you pick on somebody your own fucking generation? And stop going after the ones that did nothing just because they're big fucking names. Okay? Get off your fucking high horses. And I hate to quote an old YouTuber over some shit, but leave Elizabeth alone. Have a good night, people. I hope you're fucking happy with yourselves. And those that are members of the fucking killing wall, my firing squad, I'll catch you all at the next fucking briefing. Maybe if enough people have watched this one, reacted to it in a way I feel necessarily good about, you'll get another briefing within a week. Because right now, nothing's really drawing my fucking attention. If something does, believe me, I'll speak up. But I need to know from y'all. You want me around? Prove it. Have a good night. Rant Commander out. Have a good night.